I see the phone, brother. This thing didn't come up. Yeah, 2 Peter 3:10. Revelation 18:10. Oh, you were so solid. Joel 2:3. Revelation 18:10. And yeah, let's check this thing if we're live. There it is. Today is. Huh? I can clearly see the comment board here, but it's not coming up here. Shalom. Testing. Shalom. Well, at least we're live. Check the comment board on the iPad. So, first and foremost,
Kal Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakak Wadash Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shalom. Double honor to Elder GMS Great Millstone. Shalom. Shalom to the elect of the 12 tribes, which are scattered abroad. Greetings. We call ourselves a hopeful elect. Why? Because we do not know the elect are in these times. Shalom. So, hopefully when Yahweh Shai comes back, we will be saved. That's why we call ourselves a hopeful elect. Put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as the scriptures speak about in the book of Colossians chapter 3. By faith we believe we of the elect, but we really don't know. What's the title of today's lesson? Great death is coming. Referring to what? The destruction. World War III destruction. Alright, brother. You got it? Oh, here you go. Isaiah 54:16. Go ahead. Ooh.
Isaiah 54 and verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
Beautiful. That's Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16, speaking about what? The creation of the nuclear missile.
Oppenheimer.
Come, brother. Get that one. Knowledge shall be increased. Let me double check something real quick. Manhattan Project. Let's see. Manhattan Project. Yep. It is the Manhattan Project. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. What is the smith? The smith is the scientist in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. So what is the smith? The scientist creating here. The first steps to what? The nuclear missile, which is called what? The Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was a research and development program undertaken during World War II to produce the first nuclear weapons. It was led by the United States in collaboration with the United Kingdom and Canada. The Manhattan Project employed nearly 130,000 people at its peak and cost nearly US $2 billion. Now let's see something. I believe it was the atomic bomb. Let's fact check this. Yep, little boy. All right, let's see. Manhattan Project to produce the first nuclear weapon. All right, let's see. Did the atomic bomb come before nuke? Let's just see what it says here. Yes, the atomic bomb came before the nuclear missile. So it started as the atomic bomb so that it could lead to what? The nuclear bomb. That's the scientists, we're going to blow in the coals in the fire and bring forth an instrument for his work. Was the instrument? ICBM. It went from the atomic bomb and it got upgraded to what? The nuclear missile, which is, as the Bible speaks about in Deuteronomy 32, whet his sword, WHET. Wet means the what? Sharpen something. The atomic bomb got sharpened and got upgraded so it could bring forth a nuclear missile for his war. And I have created the waster to destroy. What is the waster? ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. That is what the I have created the waster to destroy means. Yahweh Shai has done it again, ultimately. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. All right. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
What does knowledge mean? The word knowledge and science, they go hand in hand. So let me look up something real quick. Science etymology. What's the etymology of science? The word science originates from the Latin scientiae, how you pronounce this, meaning knowledge. So knowledge shall be increased. What's that knowledge being increased? That is science being increased. That is what? Technology being increased. Let's look up technology etymology. Technology etymology comes from what? Art, skill, or craft. And logos, word, study, or discourse. So in order to have a skill of something, you have to what? You have to know about that skill. You have to know about that craft. So the word technology can go back to science, which goes back to knowledge. So knowledge equals technology and science. Technology has been increased, and it had to be increased, quickly from the past. We're in the 20th century, right, brother?
21st now.
21st century. Let me look it up. 21st century. Let's see, 21st century is the current era for the Gregorian calendar spanning from January 2001 to
21st,
to 2100. So you go back with the past 300 years. No, let's go back to the past 100 years. You go back to the let's just jump back to the 1800s compared to now. Within around a 200-year time span, they have went from horse and carriage to an aeroplane. That is not natural on its own. For thousands of years, humans used what? Horse and carriages. And now they got aeroplanes flying through the air, flying machines? No, that's Bible prophecy. Knowledge, technology had to be increased. Part of the reason why is what? The Urim and the Thummim, the internet platform that spread the 100% truth. Unicorn horn, the book of Job, into what? So the smith could blow off the coals in the fire and create the waster to destroy, to bring forth an instrument for his work, and create the waster to destroy, so that the ICBMs could be here, because prophecy has a timeline order. It's just that Yahweh Shemel Shai, he has done what? He has shortened the days for the elect's sake, as it is written. Go ahead. Let's get to the next precept. Oh, I got it there, brother. I got it all there. Got the list up there. Yep.
I see it now. 2 Peter 3 and 10.
Go ahead.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
God, 2 Peter out.
3 and 10.
Read it again.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
Get a precept, brother. Just also on that topic. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night. What does that mean? This day, the day of Yahweh, as the scriptures have spoken about, the prophets, the ones that have been before me of old, have prophesied. You can read about that in Jeremiah. It's going to come like a thief in the night. A thief comes in what? He comes in unnoticed, unexpectedly. Let's go to the book of Job. Jinn shall take him. Let's see if it pulls it up. Bear with us one moment. Well, let me see. Book of Job, it speaks about a jinn shall take him and a robber shall prevail. Jinn shall take him and robber prevail. KJV. Job chapter 18, verse 9. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The jinn shall take him by the heel. Gin, G-I-N. What is a gin? A gin is a trap. So the jinn shall take him by the heel. What is the trap? That can go into the ICBMs coming. And the robber shall prevail against him. What is the robber? Who is the robber? The robber here is Yahweh Shai, and the robber is also what? A thief. So the robber, the thief, symbolically Yahushua is going to come like what? A thief in the night, along with what? The ICBMs, which all account as the army of the Lord Yahweh. Yahweh tells about a wolf. Yahweh of hosts. No? Hosts going to what? Armies. In the Paleo Hebrew, tells about a wolf, a host. In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. ICBMs indeed bring great noise. Plus Yahushua and all the holy angels and chief Michael Archangel, Daniel 12:1. Another day shall never be like this. And the elements. What are elements? Everything is made up of what elements? Everything you see, touch, feel, or smell is made up of elements. No, you touch this, you smell it, you hear it. Elements. 3 words made of elements, interactive elements. Elements shall melt with fervent heat. It didn't say most or some of the elements. It just said elements. All the elements will melt with fervent heat where ICBM hits. Why? Because of ICBM. The heat is likened to that of the sun. Fervent heat, feverish heat. Let's go into the word there for 2 Peter 3:10. Blue letter Bible. 2 Peter 3:10. Let's click on that word there for fervent. Fervent. With a great noise. Let me click on great noise first. Alright, with a loud noise, that's what it means. Then go to element. Alright, click on elements. Anything, yeah, elements. Alright, shall melt. Click on melt. Loosen, bandages of the feet. Yeah, I'll look at this. This is the word there for shall melt.
Strong's G 3089. Luo.
Read some definitions, brother.
To loose any person or thing tight or fastened. Bandages of the feet, the shoes of a husband and wife joined together by the bond of matrimony. Of one bound up, bound in chains. To loosen, undo, dissolve anything bound tight or compacted together.
Interesting.
To dissolve something coherent into parts, to destroy.
Stop there. This says, yes, when most substances melt, the particles, atoms, and molecules move farther apart and become less ordered. As a solid gains heat, its particles vibrate faster, breaking their rigid structure to become a liquid, where they slide past each other, typically resulting in a slight increase in volume. So, these people left here in the Babylon the Great, the Tooth does, their bodies is going to what? Stop being biology and start being physics. You know? Why is air the way it is? Because, the molecules are farther apart, They're not so compact. Like in Genesis 1:1 creation. Atoms are farther apart, the elements. And when you get to a solid state, they're more closer apart. But when they become liquefied, they move away. Not as much as air, but they're still what? Moved away. Their body is now physics, no longer biology. You have now become physics. You see it? I can get it, brother. The water. And the Bach was shy. Alright, melt with fervent. This is the word there for fervent.
Strong's G 2741. Kalsao.
To burn up, to set fire, to suffer with feverish burning. Be parched with fever. What does feverish mean? A feverish state indicates, that's not what I'm looking for. Feverish definition. That's not. Restless, agitated, often due to illness or intense emotion. Frantic or hurried, excited activity, working with feverish energy. Let's get this one. Melt the foundations of the mountains. Because when this fire comes, it's going to be very fierce. It's going to be very exciteful, the heat. It's going to represent the anger of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai being poured out upon this earth.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 22. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase.
shall consume the earth with her increase. Like it, brother. Read again. I was sneezing.
For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the nations.
The mountains. The mountains, it says. God. All right. For a fire. What is this fire? The nuclear fire. Yahweh Shai is coming back with what? The fire is kindled in mine anger and shall burn unto the lowest hell. You know, this was speaking about before, but there's nothing new under the sun. This is coming back again. And shall consume the earth with her increase, just like Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring like cities about them was consumed in such a manner. You know, the scriptures speak about even the grass on the ground was burnt up. That's how America's going to be. And set on fire the foundations of the mountains. So this fire is going to be such extreme heat, it's going to what? Liquefy mountains. People's bodies is going to stop being biology and start being physics. Their elements will be melted down to the point where they become liquid, and they're going to be part of the lake of fire and brimstone. So they're going to, you know, forever be part of America. That's cold, but yeah, because the fire's going to die down eventually, and their elements are still going to remain there unless, you know, El Bashim Shai has it evaporated or something of the sort. You know, we don't know how it's going to play out. But they're going to be part of that lake of fire and brimstone. They're going to be so hot, those elements, they're going to be able to liquefy mountains. Most High is so upset. He set off. But why? Because of the wickedness. The vats of wickedness is what? It's overflowing, as the scriptures speak about. As in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. They have what? Pre-flood behavior, which is what? The wickedness. And the Lord Yahweh saw that the mind of man was continually evil and only evil. Is that not what these people are doing today now? But it's as in the olden days, you know? The wickedness of the Amorites is not yet full. But when it reaches its full point, then shall the judgment come. The wickedness of this world is still what? Building up. And when it is done, then shall the judgment come. Also, when the judgment shall come, the elect will be ready to what? Be beamed up, beam me up, beam me up, beam me up. Because, you know, the elect, Yahweh Shemel Shai, is working on them like gold is tried in the fire. The fire here represents what? Adversity. And the elect still have to go through. Yahweh Shai speak about what? Baptize you with fire. What's the fire represent? The fire represents adversity, you know? Because when you first come into the truth and everything, you know, let's just say you heard about the truth. You say, you know what? That's true. That one day in, you still got things in your life you have to get rid of, you know? Yahweh Shema Shai got to work on you so you can get on the chariot, you know? Although given, you know, it's by faith and all that. Like you got the man that was on with Yahweh Shai on the cross. He said, remember me when you come into your kingdom, you know? So, even though that was quick, he still accepted, you know, Yahweh Shai. He had that faith. It was because of his faith, you know, he got in. So, you also got that kind of two thing, you know. People can still, there's a possibility a person might wake up the day before Yahweh Shai come back and be saved. So, you also got that too as well. But, Yahweh Shai, you know, he's working on his elect, taking things out of them. So, when the judgment comes, they won't be destroyed with the judgment. You got a precept, brother? Go ahead.
Job chapter 20 and verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast out the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Now, the brother was just talking about Esau coming into his fullness when he's about to come completely into his fullness. Coming from Revelation 12 and 12, he know he have but a short time in this MOTB, micro C hip. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to rain down his fury upon him. And it's going to rain upon him while he's eating, rain upon him while he's trying to, or he thinks he's going to enjoy hit the fruit of his labors because he thinks he's going to win, but he's not. Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
That's a good point. When he's about to sit down and finally enjoy his labors. All right, everybody. Everybody, CHIPPED. Celebrate. Good times come. Oh, man, there's a missile flying through the air.
There's a missile flying through the air. Ah!
Job chapter 5 verse 12. Get that when the rich man said, I have enough of my life. Thou fool! God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, has required thy life of thee this night. Oh my goodness. Let's get that parable out. Job chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointed the device of the crafty. Devices. Let's get to the blue of the Bible. Let's see what these words mean. Let's look up the definition of words, as part of what? Trimming your lamps with the oil with the 10 virgins, 5 are wise, 5 are foolish. Trimming the lamps. Let's go into the words here. It's part of that. He, Yahweh Shem Shai, he disappointed. What's disappointed? He disappointed, because it's all one word there.
Strong's H 6565. Parear. Parear.
Yeah, so disappointed. That's it right there. To break, frustrate, violate, make ineffectual, to be broken, to break to bits, shatter. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is going to what? Shatter this new world order. Devices.
Strong's H 4284. Machashava. Machashava. Second entry. Machasheveth. Machasheveth.
Machashaba. Thought, device, plan, purpose, invention. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is going to shatter and destroy this MOTB, this new world order. Click on crafty.
Strong's H 6175. Arum. Arum. Second entry. Arom. Arom.
Subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly. That's the serpent, the garden of the serpent. If you're a serpent, that means what? You're slick. And a serpent can also be synonymous with what? A dragon. You're very wise. That serpent in the garden had to be what they call it? Sly. Had to be slick.
Slick and sneaky.
Yep, and
Cunning.
it had cunning too. And it had to watch and observe, because you don't just go into a battle. I have no idea who these people are. Know thy enemy and know thyself, and you fear not the result of 100 battles. Let's get that real quick. Know thy enemy. Sun Tzu quote. This is from the book that Sun Tzu got, Art of War. Let me get it. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. So what does that mean? Let's use a bear as an example. You know yourself. You know your enemy. You got a normal human being, and you got a bear. Humans are not as strong as bears, so, don't fight. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you also suffer defeat. Let's skip on down. If you know neither yourself nor your enemy, you will succumb in every battle. You go to fight against the bear, normal human being fight against the bear, you're going to succumb to the bear. That serpent had to be what? Watch from the garden. See who's stronger, see who's weaker. You want to go for what? You want to go for the weaker vessel, which is what? Being crafty, which is what? A serpent's move, a dragon. The word there for serpent in the Hebrew in Genesis 3 with serpent is nachash, which goes back to sorcerer, observer. That serpent in the garden was a man, a sorcerer, watching, observing. Who was the stronger? Who was the weaker?
Precept.
Yeah.
That's why 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, seeking and praying who he may get the weak one.
Come on, brother. That serpent was watching to see who's weak. That's the crafty today. The so-called white man operating the spirit of that serpent, which is who? Edomites today, which is really red and not white, pursuant to Genesis 25:25. So that serpent in the garden came back as, going into the people with Cain, and then coming back as Esau, and then coming back today as the coming back today as the Edomites. Starting with the elites of Esau, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and Oppenheimers, the elite banking families of the world, the heads of the Illuminati, the 13 hidden families, that is the Edomites today, that rule the world that the Bible speaks of, which are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. No, the definition for monster can go into embodying wickedness. Well, the Bible calls a particular set of people the wicked, which means what? They embody wickedness. So who is the one embodying wickedness? The one that rules the world, which is the so-called white man, which is Esau. Esau is Edom, as it is written. So these Edomites, they're the real monsters of the world. They need to be taken down so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. What is their enterprise? The New World Order. NWO, New World Order. Everybody being CHIPPED. Everybody being chit with the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is the RFID The one in the forehead is the brain CHIP. Yahweh Shema Shai, when they finally get to do what they want to do and get to the pinnacle of it, he's going to shatter it. He's not going to what? Allow them to fill their belly. When he is about to fill his belly. Go ahead, brother. He's not going to let them enjoy it with their full belly.
No, because of Revelation 18 and 10. Yeah. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. In 1 hour has the judgment of America come, which is going to be destruction. So they are not going to be able to enjoy the fullness of the belly, of their belly. They're not going to be able to in fullness enjoy total control, because all of this and their MOTV is going to be completely destroyed. In nuclear fire, also from the laser beams of the chariots, when Yahweh Shai comes back in his chariot with full powers, glory, and celestial powers, and all the angels. And then,
come on, brother, so I can do my nose.
be good.
Doing good, right? When I came in, do the lesson, many lessons. That's Satan. It's warfare.
It cut me off. Okay, Revelation 17 and 16 as well. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast is NATO, who's in charge of NATO America, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. They are also, that's also new intercontinental ballistic missiles being sent from the 10 horns to rain upon America.
Come on, the 10 horns is the EU. And the beast is NATO. These shall hate the whore. Ought not we seeing that now? These nations don't want to come in alliance with Nero 47, President Donald J. Trump. They shall make her desolate and naked. How? ICBM. And shall eat her flesh. How? Are these prime ministers and leaders of these other nations going to come over here and start eating dirt out of America? No, they're going to shoot ICBMs. Who is the whore? America. They're going to hate America. And shall make her desolate and naked with fire, with ICBMs. And shall eat her flesh with fire, ICBMs. And burn her with fire. Fire. America's one big witch, as the Bible speaks of in Isaiah 47. And what is the punishment for being a witch? The scripture speaks about
burn her with fire.
It doesn't say that. It just says thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. But yeah, this witch is gonna get burnt with fire. Let me get it. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So this witch can be what? Burnt with fire. So it's justifiable. This Isaiah chapter 22 verse 18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So what does this mean? You put the witch to death. Now it doesn't say right here how to put the witch to death. No. So which means what? This Babylon the Great, this witch can be what? Put to death by fire. Which means in this case, this witch can be put to death by fire. And it will happen to America, Babylon the Great. Alright, let's get the next. You got another precept on it?
That's going to take us
probably last precept.
Into the book of Joel. It keeps cutting me out.
Oh, that's fine.
Here we go. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2. And we're going to start at verse 3.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. All right. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Blow you the trumpet of Zion. Get that one, bro. You know, lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Isaiah.
And sound an alarm in my holy mountain. What's that? You know, amongst the Israelites. Zion, symbolic name for Israel. Blow the trumpet in Zion amongst the Israelites, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Highways and hedges physically in the person and live in color. Internet platforms and live in color. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. You got it?
Isaiah 58, verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
That's self-explanatory. Who are the true children of Israel? Let me see the poem real quick. The so-called Native American Indians on North and South America, the Latinos, the Hispanics, the Negroes, the slave trade, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Haitians, the Dominicans, the Guatemalans, the Panamanians, the Uruguayans, the Uruguayans, the Mexicans, you know. Let's get it right here. Let me get the total tribe chart so I can go through it. Here you go, brother. These are the true children of Israel. Say, mark name for them is Zion. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
Verse 2.
Oh, not that one. The Joe Tribe chart.
Judah, the so-called Negroes. Benjamin, the so-called West Indians. Levi, the so-called Haitians. Simeon, the so-called Dominicans. Zebulon, the so-called Guatemalans to Panamanians. Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, the so-called Cubans. Gad, the so-called North American Indians. Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians. Naphtali, the so-called Argentinians to Chileans. Asher, so-called Colombians to Uruguayans. Issachar, so-called Mexicans.
Okay, those are the two children of Israel. And you have those people scattered amongst the world looking like the other nations. And that's Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9. And some of them will be saved pursuant to Revelation chapter 7, actually.
God.
You know, it speaks about different tongues, peoples, natures, and kindreds. And the word there for kindreds goes into the blue of the Bible of the New Testament of the 12 tribes of Israel. Just prove further, it's 12 tribes only. No, it speaks about in the book of Romans. To Israelites, to pertain to adoption, my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites in the book of Romans. Let me get that real quick. Whom are Israelites? Apostle Paul made it out very clear.
Yeah.
Romans chapter 9, verse 4. It would be beautiful. It would be interesting to see a Christian break it down, but Revelation, so I get Romans chapter 9, verse 4. Actually, I'll start at 1. I say the truth in Hamashiach. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. So the Holy Spirit is backing up Apostle Paul here in Romans chapter 9. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart and my mind. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Alright, according to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Apostle Paul was, I believe he was Benjamin. Let me just double check. Apostle Paul, let's see. Yep, Apostle Paul was of the tribe of Benjamin. This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 5. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee. So Apostle Paul, he was raised a Pharisee. So that is who his kinsmen according to the flesh are. Let's click this for edification's sake. Romans chapter 9, verse 3. Let's go into the word there for flesh, because the word there for flesh means, relative. Somebody had to have sex within that same clan. The same people. That's what that's going into. Alright, let's click on flesh.
Strong's G 4561. Sarx.
Sarx. The body of a man. Flesh. Let's see, a living creature with a man. Alright. So the word there goes into flesh, body of an Israelite, because Apostle Paul was a Benjamite. Verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. So who pertaineth the adoption? The Israelites. And the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh and the promises. So what? The glory, the covenants, new covenant too as well, old and new covenant, the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh and the promises. Salvation is included in all this. So who can receive salvation? It says in verse 4, who are Israelites, who to whom pertaineth the adoption, Two Chinese people get together, have a baby, they are not my kinsmen according to the flesh. But if if an Israelite man gets with a heathen woman or even an Israelite woman and has a child, that baby is what? My kinsman according to the flesh. It doesn't matter if the wife is a heathen or not. As long as the father is an Israelite, that child is an Israelite. So that would be my kinsman according to the flesh, not the so-called China people, the China man getting with an Israelite woman. Chinese was the Moabites. That is not my kinsman according to the flesh, unless the father is an Israelite. Now we know who can receive salvation. Who was Zion? Sounding the alarm in the holy mountain. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 2. Go ahead, brother.
A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there have not ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
This is going to destruction by ICBMs, a great people and a strong. What is that? ICBMs being compared to great and strong people. These great and strong people here, the ICBMs, and the ICBMs is what? Constitutes the army of Yahweh. Yahweh is what? Yahweh talks about a waf, Yahweh of armies, of hosts. And many things could be the Most High Yahweh, his armies, including what? Missiles. There have not been ever the like. This destruction, there's not going to ever be the like. These ICBMs, there is not going to be ever the like. Now there shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Verse 3.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
A fire devoureth before them, ICBMs, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them. What does that mean? America. Eden means what? Paradise. America is seen what? As a paradisal place. Apostle Paul, Apostle John on the island of Patmos more than 2,000 years ago, Salaki, up to the 2,000 years ago time period. He saw what? That woman arrayed in red. Let's get that. Greatly wondered at. With admiration, great admiration. Let me get that. Great admiration. This is coming from the book of Revelation, KJV, chapter 17, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Go to Psalm 15:5, brother. Prove who the saints are, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4 shall come to mind as a precept. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Some brothers will be put to death for the truth. And even few sisters may get put to death as well. And possibly elect children with the elect lady. Possibly. Certain men will be put to death for this truth. It's in Revelation 20, verse 4. Be beheaded for this truth. But, the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. We should not avenge them which are asleep, which are dead. And they're going to what? Receive thrones, dominion, and glory, and honor. It's going to be beautified with salvation, beautified and meet with salvation, and arise with thy likeness. In the book of Psalms, as it is written, they're going to what? Arise with Yahushua's likeness. Be changed in the twinkling of an eye when they go onto the chariots and look upon the destruction with the harps of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, and they sing the song of Moses, which is Deuteronomy chapter 32. I wondered with great admiration. So John the Revelator is seeing this woman. Who is the woman? America. With the blood of the saints. Oh, Psalm 15:5. I probably said 15:5. It's like it. All right, let me get it over here. Oh, stay there, brother, with 15:5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So those are the saints, the ones that have made a covenant with Yahweh by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with Yahweh by sacrifice? Go back to the times of the Exodus. That's the Israelites. Yes, we will do all the words which Yahweh hath commanded. I wonder with great admiration. That's borderline lusting after her. Not just admiration, great. So he's seeing this woman, and that's why America is called what? As the Garden of Eden, because it's seeing what? As a paradise, feel-good place. Because if John the Revelator is, borderline lusting after this woman, he's thinking about what? Desiring her for pleasures, as it is written. So, which is what? Paradise, from a paradise. Garden of Eden. Eden means what? Paradise. Eden was the whole world. The Garden of Eden, the garden eastward in Eden, that's going to Israel, Jerusalem, where it was located. And behind them, a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Nothing will escape these ICBMs. Adam and Eve, they had everything in the garden. Everything they wanted to eat.
Everything they needed.
And everything, it was right there given to them. They had what? They call it what? The silver spoon? Well, they had the golden spoon. The golden wedge of Ophir spoon. Not just any gold, but golden wedge of Ophir. O-P-H-I-R. The golden wedge of Ophir. They had that kind of spoon in their mouth. Anything they wanted, they got it right there. No work, nothing. You got it? What's that? Psalm 15:5.
This is Psalms 15:5.
I remember that precept now. Yeah, I'm speaking about the elect. Psalm 15. Psalm 15 is a good precept, to pray, about, to do all those things in Psalm 15. To be that kind of person. All right, so we went to, let's go to Joel chapter 2, verse 4, brother.
The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
Yep, horses represent what? Power. Horses also what? Fast. Horses what? Vehicle. These are instruments, vehicles of destruction. It says horsemen, arrayed in battle. Verse 5.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
As a strong people set in battle array. Yeah, they're going to be loud. This is speaking about the missiles. When you think of the science of the missiles, what they sound like, the rest of it, these are the missiles. And they're going to be what? As a strong people set in battle array. Verse 6.
Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness.
All faces shall gather blackness. Why? Shall a trumpet blow in the city and the people not be afraid? Let's get that one. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? This is Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahweh have not done it? What is a trumpet can be? Trumpets and alarm sound for what? Danger coming. What is also a trumpet alarm for danger for ICBMs? A nuclear air raid siren. Let me get it. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Somebody might try. You never know.
All right.
You don't copyright me for an air raid siren.
For air raid siren.
That ain't right.
Yep.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh hath not done it? What is evil? Evil is bad times. These ICBMs are going to bring what? Bad times. When this day comes, you got something to say? Go ahead.
And when you hear that sound, it's already way too late. It's been too late.
The party's over. It's time to call it a day. You danced and dreamed through the night. It seems to be right just being with him.
It's over.
Now you must wake up. All dreams must end. And such a love. Alright, if you're looking for that song, that's The Party's Over by Nat King Cole. If you're looking for it. Yep, YouTube does. He was dancing through the night with Esau Edom. The bridegroom came at midnight.
And
Now,
this is your portion. That's what your portion is going to be.
yeah, this is the portion of a wicked man from God, it says in the book of Job. This is the portion of a wicked man from Yahweh by Shem Shai, as is written in Job. Yep. And you're going to have the angels, the sanctified ones. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 3. I've commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Them angels, they're going to come, boy. They're sanctified. They're mighty. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So Yahweh of armies is what? He is the ultimate chess player, the Most High Yahweh. So he got to do legitimately everything. He got to what? He got to muster the host for the battles. He got to get these nations in the Middle East. He got to do all this to do what? To fulfill prophecy, which is all his counsel. He got to do it up. Get that one, brother. I will fulfill all my counsel. Who hath known the counsel of Yahweh, except thou send wisdom and give thy Holy Spirit from above, written about in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 17. If you go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 17, go to 4, then skip down to 10 and 17 at least.
What precept you want?
The one, I will fulfill all my pleasure.
I got you.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole world. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. The weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. ICBMs. Gonna come, from Russia, go across to the whole world.
Yep.
Hit America. These missiles are going to go to the uttermost part of the earth, which is America, Babylon the Great, as the scriptures speak about. And yeah, bro, that's a good example. As the brother went, he went what? What's the precept that proves that? Isaiah 34. Come upon my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What goes up? ICBM, they go what? They go up. That's the sword. The sword is what? Modern day sword is the gun, but the sword is what? Weapons. ICBM is what? A weapon. It's going to be bathed in heaven. Scriptures also speak about the windows of on high are open. What is that? That is the atmosphere. And shall what? Come upon the people of Idumea, the people of my curse, the judgment. What does Idumea mean? Idumea is the Greek word for Edom. The Lord Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, written about in Isaiah chapter 34. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 7. Therefore shall, go a verse beforehand to 9 and 10. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, every man's mind shall melt. Why? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Written in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. This is the crescendo of Jacob's trouble, the day of Yahweh, when Yahweh shall come back all the holy angels and ICBMs. That is the day of Yahweh. And this is the crescendo of it. What does crescendo mean? The highest point of which something peaks. And Jacob's trouble is going to heat up and heat up and heat up and heat up and heat up till it gets to the tippy top. And then comes the day of Yahweh. And then yeah, it's over now. Jacob's trouble's over. It went out with what? It went out with a bang.
Sure.
You listen to instruments. That's Jacob's trouble, the crescendo of it. That's what a crescendo means, the highest point of where something peaks. This is now the point of no return. There is no going back. There is only going forward. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 7. And because there is only going forward, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. The king of Babylon, his hands will wax feeble, as the scriptures say. Who was the king of Babylon? The president at that time period. More than likely, it will be Donald J. Trump, Emperor Nero 47. Beautiful. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Burn, baby, burn. Literally. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. Man, I hope I'm the elect. I don't be burning, baby, burn.
Con.
To lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For that was what? That is just judgment. Whoever is left here in America to burn, baby, burn, and feel all that pain, nor after death by pain, read about 2nd Ezra, that is just judgment. And then how does Yahweh Shai feel about that? Good for you. You need to feel that. I will laugh, I will mock when your fear cometh, written about Proverbs. The Yahweh is what? He's going to be cruel on that day, with fierce wrath, a cruel king. Yahweh Shai is going to be a cruel king in that day. He is the king of terrors, written about in Job chapter 18, verse 14. He is our Shadia, written about Genesis 17 and 1. But there for God Almighty, or Almighty God, Genesis 17:1, our Shadia. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Mushroom clouds going to block that out, as with the chariots.
Yes.
The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Who was proud? Esau, Edom, as well as our people and the other nations. Man, it's bad. I also thought about, as the brothers be saying, the so-called black woman, but it trickles down to the rest of the tribes. It starts with the so-called black woman. Why? Because, the so-called black woman is who? The Judite woman. And the scriptures speak about the curses, it will smite thee with boldness. That's why a lot of Judite sisters, Southern Kingdom women, particularly the women of Judah, so-called Negro women, that's why they be put around half bald and all this, because that's part of the curses. And burning instead of beauty. They can indeed be ugly. But that's the curses. They won't be like that in the kingdom of heaven. The women, they're going to have their godly beauty. And then you got the wicked 2/3 men out here. They're what? They're prideful as well. And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. These other nations, they're very proud here in America, Babylon the Great. So much so that all nations are drunk of divine wrath for fornication, her philosophies, her democracy. The women of the other nations is starting to mimic the Babylonian woman, which is what? Going outside half naked and the rest of it. Adultery. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. No, Ophir, that's coming from America, Babylon the Great. So, Jacob's trouble, a man shall be more precious than fine gold, You and your household will be saved, as is written. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 goes into that. In that day, said women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat of our bread and drink of our own. Oh, let me get it. I'm butchering it.
Isaiah 4:1.
7 women shall take hold of one man. This is Isaiah chapter, go to Isaiah 32 and 2, brother. This is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, said women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Different translation actually says, will seize of hold of one man. What is 7 women? 7 represents completion. Whether it's 6 women, 10 women, however many women be. Will take hold of one man. Who is that man there? That man is more precious than the golden wedge of Ophir. That man is their ticket to salvation, legitimately. Because you and your household will be saved. What's the household? The man, his wife, and his children. You and your household. So how does a woman be called by a man's name to take away the reproach? By the act of having sex with him. So that will happen during Jacob's trouble. Some brothers might get 7 women or 8 women. Like somebody might say they'll be getting it in. But that's going to be what? The woman's ticket out of here to receive salvation as well as protection in the time of Jacob's trouble. But that man right there, they will get saved by that man because of that man.
God.
Because, let's go to Obadiah. Let's go Obadiah chapter 1, verse 21. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion. Mount is also symbolic for government of Israel. Zion also can be used for a name for Israel. The mountain of Israel, the government of Israel, to judge the mount of Esau, the government of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's. And saviors, who are those saviors? Those saviors are the elect men. That's why a man in that day is going to be what? More precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. That woman is being saved because she was with that elect man. That's why she's being saved. Woman saved through what? Childbearing, as the scriptures speak about. Going to be you're going to be a man's wife in the kingdom of heaven. To what? Bring back the whole entire nation. Verse 13, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 13. Possibly, Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. Written in Isaiah chapter 13. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. What does that mean? Certain men during Jacob's trouble will receive spiritual powers, miracles. That is why they are going to be what? Willing to what? Serve Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Some people will come in because the what? Seeing is believing. So you could possibly have other people with you, and they will what? Seeing is believing. And because they believe, because Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Rakakodash is working with you to do miracles, they end up what? Getting saved. So ultimately, that man, elect man, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12, is more precious than fine gold, even the gold of wedge of Ophir. Because of that man, there will be salvation for others. Verse 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. And the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Tazaba'awath, and the day of his fierce anger. 14, and it shall be as a chase roe. If you ever went after a deer to chase it, you ever after chase the roe to chase it, to hunt it down, to eat it, oh, you know what that means. For a normal man, that thing can be hard to catch. Just look it up, Google it. How fast is a roe and the rest of it. Look on YouTube. That's why hunters, they like to use stealth tactics, because to go charge on it head on without superpowers, that's a lost cause. Unless you got some Michael Jordan, you're gonna go like this and throw it and predict it and somehow the way hit it. But even then, it's still complicated to get that thing. That thing is a lost cause. Predators. If a predator, makes a mistake, they won't even chase after their prey, because why bother? It's a lost cause. They're gonna move on. It's too much energy to use up. It is too much energy to go chasing after that roe. I'm moving on. And as a sheep that no man taketh up, there shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Nero 47, he wants to do this drafting thing, and he's thinking about drafting men and women. Men, between the ages of 18 and 26, 25, really 26, as that news lady was saying, automatically, and they're thinking about doing it to women as well. Congress. So prepare for men and women to also go to war. You women too. People going to what? Return to their own people and flee everyone to his own land. So if you're an American citizen but you're a Chinese, let me go to China again. Japanese, let me go to the land of Nihon. If you're a Korean, let me go to the land of Annyeonghaseyo. Let me go to Korea. If you're a so-called African from Ethiopia, which you have Israelites mixed amongst them anyways, let me go back to Ethiopia and the rest of them. 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. ICBM is a sword. Thrust through with that ICBM. Fall by the sword. 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Time of Jacob trouble. Children put to death before the parents' eyes. Houses spoiled. Get them bread up there. You see that wheat bread? Grab it, John. I got it, John. They're stealing from the house. They're spoiling it. And their wives, R-A-P-E, in front of them. They're going to have that happen to men and children as well. Yes. The men, the husband, the wife, the children, and their dog just got R-A-P-E. And their little dog, too. Yes, don't sleep on Esau. He is the beast man.
The beast man, Khan.
Yeah, the scriptures say the base man, too. The scriptures, it calls the other nations cattle in Genesis. Cursed shalt thou be of all beasts of the field. Esau is that beast, that baser nature man. Brute beasts. Yeah. Scriptures speak about brute beast Israelites. And those brute beast Israelites are going to be doing the will of Satan, your father, the devil, in John chapter 8, verse 44. And who is the devil? Devil means deceiver. Who is the deceiver? The serpent of God. He was deceptive. That's Esau, Edom, that deceiver. So these Edomites are likened unto what? Beast, even in the Bible, as well as the movie Planet of the Apes. That's what I was really saying. But even according to the Bible, they can be likened unto beasts. Because the 2/3 is likened unto beasts, but the 2/3 is likened unto Esau. Go ahead, brother, with the precepts.
Isaiah 32 and verse 2. And the man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
Come, let's go to Isaiah 46 again, fulfill all my pleasure. Back to that one. Isaiah chapter 32, verse 2. And a man shall be in a hiding place from the wind. 80 miles an hour winds. Find a hiding place. In a covert from the tempest. It's a tornado out here, drenching rain, lightning. Let me go inside. To get what? Safety. As the rivers of a water in a dry place. You're in the desert. Has it been 6 hours since you last drank something? You found some water. That's life-saving. As the shadow of a great rock on a weary land. It's hot outside, it's burning up. You know, being in shade can lower degrees of temperature significantly so you can survive. How cool is it in the shade? Let me just look up something real quick. It is typically 10 to 15 degrees cooler in the shade than in direct sunlight. Though surface temperatures can feel up to 25 degrees to 45 degrees Fahrenheit cooler, shade protects you from direct solar radiation, making it significantly more comfortable. Trees offer the best relief, potentially creating areas 25 Fahrenheit cooler than nearby sun-exposed pavement. You know, the desert, yeah, it's not like it's sucking up the heat like a forest. That's why, you know, it says here, a weary land. You know, you're out in some desert land somewhere, some bare land, you know, the forest is going to suck up more because all the shade, the trees, and there's all that on the ground. But this weary land, it ain't got all that. So it's going to be closer to like concrete. And that great rock can be what? Big like a tree. And has what? 25 degrees cooler in the shade than the direct sunlight. Plus all that solar radiation burning you up. Savior. Go ahead.
Isaiah 46 and
9 and 10.
remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
God. Remember the former things of old. I am the power, and there is none else. I am the power, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning. The book of Jude goes into Enoch prophesied also from Adam, 10,000s of his saints. The book of Enoch today, as you might look up, that is a false book. They believe fallen angels came down and had sex with women. Angels have no desire for that. How do you prove that? Yahweh Shai spoke about they are like the angels in heaven, neither giving into marriage. Meaning what? In the spirit world, there is no act of marriage. In consummation of marriage, which is the pleasure that came with sleep, in the Apocrypha, which is sex, there is none of that. The angels have no desire for that. That is a mortal affair. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be immortals, and that will still take place. That is a three-dimensional world affair that does not take place in the fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is pure, it is clean. The act of sex makes you unclean. That is not going on. The angels, they're going to stay clean. They don't want to, become like that. And from ancient time, the things that are not yet done, prophets are ancient, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. What was the counsel of Yahweh? Prophecies. Prophecies shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. This is all happening. Why? Because it's the pleasure of the Most High Yahweh. Let's get this one. Go to Isaiah 13, brother. Let's happily ye be found to fight against God. Let's get this one. Acts chapter 5, verse 39. If you try and fight prophecy, this is what happens. But if it be of Yahweh, you cannot overthrow it. Let's happily ye be found able to fight against Yahweh. That was Acts chapter 5, verse 39. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 13. It's about to end, actually. 17.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Medes. Let me look up something. Japheth's son was Med. I believe it was Japheth's son. Yeah, Japheth's son. Identified as the ancestor of the Mede. Genesis 10:2. Let me look there real quick. Genesis chapter 10, verse 2. The Medes here are the Russians. Let me check. Magog, Madai. Alright. Let's go on back. Medes. The Medes is who? The Russians. they're going to be what? Stood up against Babylon. And as for gold and silver, they shall not delight in it. Next verse.
For their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to buy off these verses when it comes down to it. That's why they're not going to delight in silver or gold. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. What are bows? Shoot arrows. What are arrows? ICBMs.
Missiles.
And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Self-explanatory. Their eyes shall not spare children, sons, none of it. Girls, little boys,
Nope.
high schools, preschools, kindergarten, none of it.
No age. It knows no age spared.
Yep. You know, switch to speak about when they shall say peace and safety. Peace and safety. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, of course, Russia's going to have to come into the land of Israel to fight this war in the Middle East and the Levant area. So this is going to be taking place. And in some sort of way, they're going to do what? Peace. So it's going to be going out. Peace between, Russia and all this. Peace. But what? They're certainly going to shoot ICBMs. That evil thought shall come into thy mind, as is written. What's that evil thought in Isaiah? In Ezekiel chapter 38, an evil thought is going to come into the mind of the Russians. The nuke America. That war in the Middle East is going to be between the Red Sea and the Euphrates, Levant area. We're seeing that begin now. That's why brothers are saying about we in World War III now. It's going to start as a convention, escalate to nuclear. It's affecting multiple nations. You even got North Korea got affected by this war with the Iranians.
That's right.
At one of their bases. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, as a veil upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Once that labor pain kicks in, the baby's coming. That's the end of the story. Go ahead, brother. Keep going.
Okay. Isaiah 13 verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
By fire. Rain down fire, self-explanatory. Yahweh spoke about if they don't receive you and kick you out, you dust off your feet and all that, it is more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than that city on the day of Yahweh. Yahweh's wrath, as Yahweh spoke about. Go ahead, bring the next verse.
Verse 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
I double checked it. Medes is going back to the sons of Japheth, but in this case, that's referring to the Russians because the Medes area was around where the Russians area is at. That's why it says the Medes there. That's the Russians. And the Russians, they can go back to Scythians, which are actually Israelites. No, Medes, not Slakia. Russians go back to the Scythians. That's why in the New Testament, whether it's barbarians and Scythians, those are Israelites there. Then you go like even further that's like the Medes area, the area of the sons of Japheth. All right, let's go back to 20, brother. Read 20 again.
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Yeah, when it's destroyed, no human will ever inhabit it again. 22. Oh, 21.
But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there.
Satyrs is a type of desert animal. Isaiah 34 goes into it, and Revelation 18 goes into it. 22, brother.
And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
Yeah, Revelation 18:2 goes into it. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful blood, Cage and unclean and hateful blood, that's going into what? These animals, the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. It's never going to be inhabited by humans ever again. Let me go on to Revelation 18:2 real quick. Just want to see something. So these are all desert animals here. Actually, brother, read that again, the last verse, one last time.
And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
America's days will not be prolonged. The days are shortened for the elect's sake, as it is written. Yeah. Habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, the kid of every unclean and hateful blood. These wild beasts of the desert shall lie here. That's all it's going to be here. No, nothing else. It's going to be a desert over here when the fire finally dies down. Alright. The Russians, they're going to shoot their ICBMs. I actually had a video right here I wanted to play before I end it. Yeah, here it is. Fair use, fair use, fair use. It's a piece of it. Play it short. Let's see if I can get it better.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in. From generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and the houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry at their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
Let's see what the ending is. Yeah. It says here. Let's get it on the screen. Ka halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yep, fair use. I put it in the chat right there. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Now you know Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai willing about Isaiah to the 13. Started around the third verse. Second verse. Anything else you want to bring out, brother?
That's all.
On that note, shalom. Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakal Kodash Barakateh Yahweh Barakateh Yahushai. Shalom.
Shalom.
Never honor to LGM as Great Millstone. Shalom.